Hey there, Saki here from Saki Tech. In today's video, we will do a full and complete comparison between the iPhone SE and the iPhone 6s Plus. The iPhone 6s Plus was released in September 2015, while the iPhone SE in March 2016. iPhone SE is not the iPhone to succeed the 6s Plus, but it is actually a supercharged version of the iPhone 5s from September 2013. And by supercharged, I mean supercharged. As a matter of fact, the 6s Plus and the SE share a lot of common denominators, but the one big difference is the overall size and a few other important things. So in this video, we will do a deep dive and inspect every aspect of these phones and see which one might be the right fit for you. Let's start off with the build quality and design. Both of these phones are constructed with aluminum and have a superior feel in your hands. I want to be crystal clear, whether you hold the iPhone 6s or the iPhone SE in your hands, they will both feel like $1 million. But although the feel is equally amazing, the looks are quite different. The iPhone SE has a boxier look with sharp and beveled edges, while the iPhone 6s sports a curvy design. It has curvy edges which give it a more continuous form. What I mean by the continuous form is that on the 6s, the glass curves down around the sides to meet the aluminum enclosure that further curves to the back of the phone on a continuous surface without any gaps or bumps. But despite this new continuous and curvy design, I cannot tell you that the iPhone 6s design is superior to the SE. I wouldn't be surprised if some people prefer the design of the SE over the 6s, whereas others will prefer the 6s over the SE. What this means is that both phones, from a design perspective, look pretty gorgeous. Let me know which one you like in the comments below. Now, while on the subject of design, let's take a look at the dimensions. The SE measures 123.8 millimeters in height, 58.6 millimeters wide, and 7.6 millimeters thick. It only weighs 113 grams. The 6s Plus, on the other hand, weighs 158.2 millimeters in height, 77.9 millimeters wide, and 7.3 millimeters thick, and it weighs 192 grams. Obviously, the 6s Plus is the bigger phone, but if you notice, the 6s Plus is thinner than the SE. That is most likely due to the fact that they had to cram in some powerful internals inside of SE's considerably smaller frame, and we will talk about these internals in a minute. In any case, the SE is definitely designed for all-day one-handed use, while the 6s Plus will be asking for double-handed usage just about every single time. So this is an important category while making a decision: single-handed use versus double-handed use. Let's move on to the processor and memory. Here's one category these phones are identical twins. Both of these phones sport the A9 chip, which is a 64-bit dual-core processor clocked at 1.84 GHz with 2 GB of RAM. Even the powerful 6-core graphics chipset is the same, which is the PowerVR GT7600. It is absolutely incredible that a phone as small as the SE holds this much power inside it. You can literally edit 2 streams of 4K video on this tiny little phone. Let's do a quick Geekbench benchmark to measure the performance of these phones. So let's run the benchmark on both phones and see what kind of results we get. And there we have it. And as you can see, both the single core and multi-core performance is exactly the same, with a couple digits on and off. Alright, so let's talk about the display. The 6s Plus has a 5.5-inch screen and a resolution of 1080p, which brings the total PPI to 401, while the SE has a 4-inch screen and a resolution of 1136 by 640, which brings the total PPI to 326. The higher resolution and higher PPI will give the 6s Plus a definitive advantage in sharpness and crispiness. Two major differences here are that the 6s obviously has a larger screen, which means you get more screen real estate. That is going to translate to a more thorough enjoyment of apps, movies, and games. So make sure you guys are comfortable with a small 4-inch screen if you decide to go with the iPhone SE. Now, the other major difference is that the 6s has a multi-touch display with a taptic engine, which allows you to benefit from 3D touch. The iPhone SE does not support 3D touch. So let's talk about 3D touch. What exactly is 3D touch? It is part of multi-touch, and it adds a new dimension to the already existing multi-touch gestures such as tapping, swiping, and pinching. This new gesture is known as peek and pop. With the light press on the screen, you can peek into content such as photos, email messages, hyperlinks, and then with a deeper, firmer press on the screen, you can pop right into the full content. This is all possible, of course, because the iPhone 6s can sense the amount of pressure you apply on the screen with your fingertips. Again, this is a 6s exclusive feature, so if you in fact are mesmerized by this new technology, you should definitely consider the 6s over the SE. 3D Touch also allows you to perform quick actions. Certain compatible app icons can be touched, which will pop a menu with available quick actions. For instance, you can touch the camera icon, which brings up a quick action menu that allows you to take a selfie or take a photo right from the home screen. It's almost like a right-click button for the iPhone. Of course, there's more you can do, but these are some of the highlights. So yeah, if this is a feature that entices you, stay focused on the iPhone 6s. And let's quickly touch on the software. Both phones run the latest version of iOS, so other than the 3D touch functionality, you will get the same exact experience. Basically, iOS is all about smooth, consistent functionality, great apps for your lifestyle, your work, and fantastic games. So it's all the same. Let's move on to the camera. Here is another category where we have the exact same world-class camera on the rear on both the 6s and the SE. This is a 12 megapixel iSight camera with an aperture of f2.2. It is already known that this is one of the best smartphone cameras on the market. Once again, it's hard to believe that such a small phone like the SE could have a camera this amazing at your fingertips. You will certainly be able to take identically crystal clear, high-resolution pictures with either phone, but the one thing the 6s Plus has that the SE doesn't is the optical image stabilization, which allows the camera to perform better in low-light conditions by compensating for shaky hands. But that's the only extra feature on the 6s Plus. You also get to enjoy the amazing video capabilities. We're talking about 4K video at 30 frames per second, 1080p video at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second with cinematic video stabilization, as well as super slow motion 720p video at 240 frames per second. And of course, you get to do time-lapse videos. Now on the front side, the cameras do differ. The 6s has a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, while the SE has a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera. A minor difference that I wouldn't worry about too much. The rear camera is what really counts, and they're exactly the same powerful cameras. Let's move on to the battery. So the 6s Plus has a battery capacity of 2750 mAh, while the SE has a battery capacity of 1645 mAh. Now both phones have been tested to last as much as a day and a half on medium use. And by medium use, we mean a healthy mixture of browsing the web, watching some YouTube videos perhaps, playing a couple hours of games, and of course, calling and texting. So that's the battery. You get the same life with either phone. Fingerprint sensors. Both the 6s and the SE touch to unlock fingerprint sensor that works flawlessly with 99.9% accuracy. You can use the fingerprint security to unlock your phone, sign into various apps, and make purchases, so that's fantastic. Though the fingerprint sensors work flawlessly, the one on the iPhone 6s is actually faster as it is the second generation version, but the iPhone SE will be using the older first gen version. It's not a big deal, but just wanted to let you know. Let's move on to pricing. SE comes in a base 16GB model for $399 or 64GB for $499. The 6s Plus comes in a base model of 16GB as well with a starting price point of $749. You can also get a 64GB model for $849 or 128GB model for $949. Either phone can be acquired in silver, space gray, gold, or rose gold colors. There is no storage expansion, so make sure you buy the right amount of storage since you will be stuck with that capacity for the term of your ownership. Also note that the 6s Plus costs $350 more than the SE. This is a very important point because you basically get the same power and internals for $350 less on a smaller form factor. But obviously, you lose that larger display, which makes a difference for some people. Alright, so we have looked at everything, but how do we draw a conclusion? First off, let's realize that the iPhone SE is basically a smaller version of the 6s. Here is what both phones have in common. A world-class 12 megapixel rear-facing camera, the same amazing processing power, and same overall software experience. And here are two things the 6s has that the SE doesn't: the 3D touch and a larger screen to enjoy media better. So based on those facts, the question is, do you prefer a smaller screen that promises full single-handed use? Because that's basically the only advantage SE could offer over the 6S along with a smaller price tag. The only reason you would get the 6S Plus is if you want a big phone with a large, vibrant display that allows you to enjoy movies, games, websites, and apps more immersively, and you don't mind spending $350 more just for that. Also remember, if you already are a user of a larger phone, it might be very hard to get used to a smaller 4-inch iPhone SE. Well, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to Saki Tech and give this video a thumbs up. Also, follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Saki Tech Online, for which links are in the description below. Have a fantastic day.